Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started with this review of Married at First Sight, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell notification. Also, if you enjoy listening to audible books, make sure you click the link in the description below and get a 30-day free trial. Now to today's review.
All right. And we're on our countdown to D-Day, Decision Day.
We're on our countdown to Decision Day. We start off this episode of Married at First Sight seeing the couples leave the retreat. And some of the couples are excited, some of the couples are happy. But production went to the scene of Christina and Henry while they were in their car, and it was nothing. They didn't, and like after coming off a retreat where they're having a good time, enjoying each other, where they even competed in the game and kind of almost won, they really, knew each other a little bit. Christina, there was no emotion. They're still not conversating. And I was like, they are the weirdest couple. And we know Henry's done. Henry checked out. When we get later on in the episode, you can tell that Henry is totally checked out. But there was a scene that was funny, and it reminded me of kind of us a little bit, where Amani and Woody was in the car, and Amani couldn't find her phone. And Amani was like, where's my phone at? Where's my phone? She checked her iWatch, and it started ringing. And next thing you know, Woody had the phone right beside him. I mean, that sounds like something that I would do, where you're looking for your phone or looking for something, and I forgot where I put it at. You handed it to me, and I laid it down someplace and forgot. I thought that was hilarious because I realized that I'm not the only one that does that.
I just gotta shake my head.
I'm not the only one that does that. Well, let's get started. Let's start with
He didn't even look good. That's the problem we have. Like he don't even look, no.
He didn't look well, but guess what? He forgot. He forgot. It's okay. We forget sometimes. We as men forget. And we learn about that a little bit later. Let's start with Woody and Amani while we're there. Woody and Amani. We see Woody and Amani when they get back home, didn't feel like unpacking. And, Amani asks Woody, where do you feel at on this level of kind of love? What percentage are you at? Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I was at 80%. Now I'm at 100. I'm all in.
Wow.
Woody's like, I'm at 100%. I'm all in. I'm ready to go. Like, this is what I was looking for. This is what I want. And then he jokes with Amani. Then he asks Amani, well, yeah, she like 50. He was like, what? Like, what? Like, girl, you better stop playing. But nah, she says she's all in as well. And it goes to the clip of her professing her love for Woody. And I think that was it shows how their relationship has grown. How she was at first a little hesitant. Mm-hmm. But Woody, which his friends didn't think he would do at the beginning, Woody was all in.
Yeah.
Woody was like, from day one, he saw Amani, and through the process, he was like, you know what? I'm all in this. I'm going to love. And when you see that, when he talks to his grandma a little bit later, he's like, I'm in love. I'm in this.
Yeah.
He's totally all in this, which I think is great for him and Amani, that they're all in. You can see throughout the episode their jokiness, mm-hmm. how they joke and how they sarcastic. And I don't know, maybe there's a fine line with me. Sometimes she seems like she get upset with some of the things that he does, but then she know how to reel it back in and not take it to the extreme.
I feel like it's a play upset. Like, what you say, it's like that. I don't really think she's upset. But at the same time, I do think she does have that reel in, like, Woody played too much. So that's good that she has that early on, that like, I know how to take him seriously, but I already know when he's joking, and I know, don't upset yourself, he plays too much, But she even told her friend Nicole when she met with Nicole, she met with each participant, or each couple had to meet with somebody, their supporting character, or their family member or friend, whatever the case may be, to talk about their decision day. And so Amani met with her friend Nicole. Mm-hmm. She said she was super confident in the fact that, that she likes Woody, that she loves Woody. And Nicole, and they begin to talk about things, what gets on her nerves about Woody. And she said his attention span. Yes.
That Woody's attention span is kind of real short. Which, you can see that a little bit. Woody's one of those high energy that he doesn't want to sit still and do anything for a long time type person. Mm-hmm. But he's constantly going. So,
right.
But us, it's not just him, but us as men, sometimes our attention span is short. Sometimes we have 50 million things going on in our mind. We want to do 50 million different things. And I'm not mad at Woody.
No, I'm not mad, I guess. But I feel Amani's like, I just want to know, are you paying attention? Like, pay attention to me in this moment what I'm saying. And so I get it. But that's not like, she didn't make it like it was a big thing. It was just like, you know, his attention span. That concerns me. Like, I need you to pay attention.
But you know, we and it goes to the scene, one of our favorite scenes of all Married at First Sights. When she said burqa.
Oh my gosh.
And Woody believed she said a burger. He's like,
he said, man, I put some pickles on that thing. I sopped that thing up. And she was like, not a burger.
A burqa.
He said a burger. What's that?
What's that? Which shows that he was listening but not listening. And that she said that's one of the biggest things that she has to deal with him, that he's so quick to speak and slow to listen. But he was like, yo, he was ready. I'm going to get me some mayonnaise, some mustard, some cheese. I'm going to sop that thing up. What?
She said a burqa. A burqa.
A burqa, not a burger.
Why would I be dressed in a burger?
Yeah. And I thought that was, you know, just talk about their relationship. But Woody sees his grandmother in.
Yeah, and he said he's enjoyed the transition of where they are now. He likes the place that they're in. He really likes Amani. He says that they're in a good place, and his grandma's like, you know what? I like y'all together. Mm-hmm. You know, y'all are sweet. You know, y'all get along well. And grandma says, I can see them being together. I can see them being together. And she notices the change in Woody, mm-hmm. which she should, because they used to live together. So she should be able to tell a big change. But I mean, we joking about them living together, but for real, I'm sure Woody's brought females to the house, yeah. and grandma was like, "No, baby, that's not the one. No, baby." Or, you know, she might have heard some things that grandma probably shouldn't have heard. Right. Because, I mean, they was like roommates. It wasn't like I live with my grandma type thing. It was, so, grandma says she wants to, and it's funny because grandma's, Woody says, you know, what advice would you give? You know, you've been married a long time to grandpa. You know, what would you have to say to me? And she was like, I want to tell you like men used to do. And it's funny, she said the exact thing that Amani said to her friend. And she tells Woody, you need to pay attention. Mm-hmm. Sometimes men don't pay attention. Yeah. So pay attention to her. Pay attention to what she said. Just pay attention. And she said also, make sure that you're consistent and make sure that you continue to be respectful.
I think that's great advice from grandma. I mean, I think as men in relationships and things that we have to do, we have to pay attention. You have to be respectful. We have to be consistent. You know, consistently open the door, consistently, you know, have conversation, consistently talk, and consistently show affection and show love, and be consistent. I think that shows, it builds more trust up in your partner when you're consistent with your behavior, mm-hmm. because they know what to expect from you. When you're bouncing all over the place and they don't know whether today should I say this, shouldn't I say that, there's no consistency there. Well, if you reacted this way to this time, this conversation, or you reacted this way to that conversation, it messes up relationships.
Well, yeah, and I mean, not even so much being consistent there, but also being there. Yeah. So consistent, like, you know, in your behavior, how you treat me, how you talk to me, being consistent there. And always, if you're gonna take care of me consistently. Mm-hmm. You know, but grandma and Woody, they talk about the importance of decision day, and he says that he thinks there's a strong chance they'll stay together. And like I said, grandma was like, you know, I hope they will. I like them together, and I can see it. I can see it. So, and Amani pretty much kind of said that to her friend too. You know, they're both, I can't see like some on decision day for them. Because they even talk about that later too.
Yeah, they talk about it later, and that's what thing. Woody was like, she's like, what if I happen? Woody said, I'm just walk off, dog. Like, it really, he was like, yo, to me, it would be heartbroken for him. And I think it would be heartbroken for us as viewers if Amani was like, no. It would have to be something like, why all of a sudden did you say no to us being together? Woody said, I would just walk off. And I think that's a good thing for him to walk off instead of cuss anybody, to fight anybody, to put hands on anybody. Just walk off, dog, and deal with it later.
And when they went to their last dinner together, they talked about it there, and Woody pretty much says, look, don't surprise me.
Yeah.
When we get up front, just let me know. If it's gonna be a no, let me know from the beginning. You know, I've grown to love you and appreciate you. And he got teary-eyed saying, you know, I feel like this is like my grandma and grandpa type of love. And, you know, he got choked up because he, you know, obviously, you know, we know Woody's dad wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So his example that he has to look at is his grandparents.
Yeah.
And they've been together for a long time. And he's watched them and he's like, I feel like we got that kind of love. So let me know up front if you're going to say no, because then, like he said later, if we get in there and your excuse is that I don't pay attention, and I'm going to be like, that's bull. I can't. He said I'm going to flash out.
Well, this is why I like Woody and Amani, because in this season right here, because they have conversations that we talk about. Like, I can't believe any other couple. I don't see how you get blindsided on D-Day. I think you should have you already know you have these conversations leading up to decision day. And I'm glad we get to see Woody and Amani have these conversations. I can't imagine like Jasmine and Will didn't have these conversations and he surprised her on decision day. Like, she had no clue. Like, Will, you didn't have enough decency to tell me prior to decision day that we wasn't, you just didn't make your mind up on decision day. You know what I'm saying? Or you got the other couples where you know that they're going to split, like Zach and Mindy. Like, we know it's over, you know. So there shouldn't be a surprise if you're a couple on decision day. You should know, unless something just totally went wrong, and that night before, you should already know on decision day what's going to take place.
Yeah.
I just believe that every couple should have that. Every couple should be having that conversation, and if you don't have that conversation, to me, that's a problem.
Yeah, but God knows we've seen it. Like, you used Will and Jasmine.
Iris and Keith.
That's what I was going to say. Iris and Keith, man.
Like, y'all didn't have that conversation prior to coming on the show, prior to decision day. Like, you didn't tell her, like, you know, Iris, I don't think it's going to work out. At least don't embarrass. To me, I think it's embarrassing on TV. I say yes, and you say no, and I'm sitting there looking like, dang, what happened?
Right.
Look, like, we were both on the same page.
Right.
Nah, dog. Let me know. I agree with Woody. Let me know.
Yeah, and I mean, she's on the page too. You know, she joked with him when he was like, "I'm gonna lose it." I'm gonna say that's not valid. If you say this, then I ain't going. She was like, "What? Are you serious?" But again, like we said, I think it was the shock of that. Obviously, you gotta believe that if you come in there and say no, and you give what he feels is a lame excuse, you can't.
Right now, I don't think she has an excuse. Now, unlike other couples on this season, I don't think she has an excuse to be like, you know what, Woody, this is not gonna work out. It has nothing. They're like Deanna and Greg. There's nothing been shown that this couple's not gonna say yes on decision day.
Yeah, I can't see it.
I can't see it.
And so with that, let's go to the other couple that we think is a sure shot.
Amelia and Bennett.
Absolutely.
Amelia and Bennett. You know, Bennett and Amelia, to me, these guys are funny. They are a funny couple to me. We see Bennett and Amelia. We see Bennett and Amelia. You know, Bennett has his friends that come over because the people that he talks.
Okay. Let's first, because we have to address this.
Okay.
And we need to know what y'all saw. They leave the retreat.
Oh yes.
And my husband's like, did she just climb through the window of the car?
Yeah, she pulled the Dukes of Hazzard. I had to rewind it. She pulled a Bo Duke and Luke Duke. Yeah, I don't know. I'm showing my age a little bit. Dukes of Hazzard. She comes through the window of the car. Now, two things we figured out: Bennett's car door don't open,
or she just likes to get in through the window. Or she
just likes to get in through the window. Whichever way it was.
We don't know which one it is, but we did. We went back. It's like, I think she did come through the window.
She just came through the window, dog.
Why did she do that? Okay,
like she was a good old boy. You slid across the hood, came into the window, and
you did not say good old boy.
In the general release. Hey, that's what the song says on Dukes of Hazzard. Hey, everybody wanted to go through the car window on Dukes of Hazzard.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
I used to play like that under our coffee table. Me and my brother was small enough to sit up under the car. Anyway,
digress. Man, Bennett has his friends over. You know, Bennett has his friends over. He has his friend Robbie, and then had his friend Thaddeus, who comes over, and Bennett is sharing his relationship with Amelia in his watermelon outfit.
Right, which makes an appearance later.
We
think. It might have been just matching stuff. But anyway, So yeah, he talks to Thaddeus and Robbie. and they are really intently listening and soaking it up. I'm gonna say this. Bennett has some, well, they all do, but I noticed that Bennett's friends are very good listeners because they really sat there and listened before they responded. And so he mentioned that it was easy for them to get along. How's everything going for you and Amelia? It's very easy for us to get along. It's smooth sailing. And what's the hardest thing they've run into? Nothing. Which I thought was odd that he wouldn't mention the fact off the top. He did get to it, but why wouldn't he say the issue we ran into was that she couldn't find anything to complain about me. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. That kind of disturbed him. And then the fact that they have to deal with her doing her residency and they're going to have to move out of state. He did talk about that, but he didn't say it up front.
Yeah, he didn't say it up front, but he did talk about the residency, and then he talked about her moving to Virginia. And I think this was interesting when he said moving to Virginia with her family. I thought, maybe I'm reading between the lines. Some people are... Right now, they're not around a whole bunch of family. And I guess he also figured doesn't know how it's going to happen when he moves to Virginia and her family is around a lot. Does Amelia change? Does Amelia be the same? Are they spending the time together? Because you figure she's going to be in her residency. I think Bennett had some reservations about moving to Virginia and constantly being there. Because when he talked to his friends, he's like, I'm going to spend some time in Virginia. Then I'm going to come back to New Orleans and spend 4 or 5 months here. And Thaddeus asked, like, how are y'all going to work that out? About how you're going to feel about her. And being away from her. And, Bennett was like, I have a life here too, kind of.
Yeah, but what he said was when Thaddeus asked him that, he said, it won't be the easiest thing to deal with. I won't necessarily like being away from her, but, I have a whole life here in New Orleans that I don't want to completely walk away from. And it makes sense to Amelia. They agreed to it before. But I didn't get that when he said she's going to be around her family. I didn't get that. I feel like there he was just saying that that's why I want to maintain a connection with New Orleans. I don't think it's so much that then she'll be in her circle and I'll be left out. I didn't get that from his comment.
I did, because Thaddeus asked, what you going to do for work? That was another question. What are you going to do for work? She's going to be working. What are you going to do? And Bennett like, I don't know.
He gonna do the same thing Amelia's daddy did. Be a house husband.
But he gotta do something. If you can't spend 4 to 5 months in New Orleans and then the other, whether it's the other 8 months or whatever case be 7 months back in Virginia, what are you gonna do for work? What job allows you to do that? He's gonna have to recreate himself all over Virginia or be able to maintain. I
told you he gonna be a house husband.
Yeah, but a residence salary is not that. Well, depends on where he lives.
But Bennett ain't made. Yeah, Bennett said the most I ever made in a year was like $20,000.
He a minimalist, so no, her salary may be good for both of them.
Exactly.
He's a minimalist. So.
I don't think they're gonna have no problem. They can find a nice little tiny house. Although I don't know where a tiny house would be in Richmond.
In Richmond.
Because we're familiar with Richmond.
Yeah. I can't.
Yeah, they'd have to live in a county somewhere. But anyway, so Thaddeus is the naysayer.
Yeah.
Bennett acknowledges that Thaddeus has kind of been like not feeling the whole situation anyway. Yeah. And he tells Bennett, well, how you know how a person is when you go through the bad things, bad times with them. And do you see her, or is this still her representative?
I tell people, well, we go back, another couple said that too. Who says we have to have bad times in a relationship? I'm not talking about like drop down, drag out, fight, but there's maybe a situation, an argument. But is that really a bad time or just a bad moment?
Well, I don't think people always are talking about that. But, all right, for example, so not just arguments between you, but, okay, bad times like job loss. Because at some point in time, in any marriage, you're going to go through some things, even if you don't disagree with each other. There may be job loss. There may be death of a family member.
Give that.
Death of an animal. A pipe burst in your house. Right. Not having enough money to pay the bills this time. So I think when they say bad times, that's what they mean. Not this person's bad personality traits coming out, but that situations come and that two years in, you know, we had an uncle pass away.
Yeah.
My father passed away. And we lost a baby all in 1 year. So things like that test relationships like.
Yeah, I mean, and when you put it that way, you have to be there. Those situations do come. Well, I guess we don't say bad times, when life happens. I guess when not bad times, but when life happens, how are you gonna adjust? How do your mate or your spouse deal with life happening?
Or really what life happening is, how does your mate deal with stress?
Yeah, deal with stress.
Stressful situations. And that's good and bad, because for real, her moving to Virginia for a residency, that's a stressful situation. It's a good stress, not bad stress necessarily. So you have good and bad stress.
Yeah.
Job changes may not be a bad thing necessarily, but it's a stress.
Yeah, and plus, I think his daddy was trying to say too, when you guys are outside of this controlled situation.
Yes.
Which this Married at First Sight is a controlled environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of, you know that you're gonna be shooting. You know that she's gonna be going to work. You know it's kind of controlled. If you don't have questions, the producers are gonna provide you things to talk about. The days that you want to chill, so it's kind of controlled. When the cameras are gone and life really happens, how did she handle adversity? How do you handle adversity? How do you guys handle adversity together?
Yeah, and so on that we see Amelia. The way she deals, her friends are there.
Yeah.
But what she does is, she has
She zooms up the psychic.
She was a witch.
A witch. Oh yeah.
She zooms a witch. She has a consultation with a witch who's also a tarot card reader. Yeah. So.
Oh boy.
They're reading the cards via Zoom. I don't know that much about tarot reading. I don't know. I thought that though. The person getting the cards read had to shuffle the cards, and that gave. I know, but that's my point.
Oh.
That's my point. I thought that had a role in the cards and what would come up.
I'm not that familiar, but I can say the witch might have stacked the deck. But how many times do you want to get a bad reading from a witch? Would you go back to the witch if you got the bad reading? I'm just saying. I'm just. So I wonder if. My question is, did she pay for that Zoom session with the witch?
Yes. Yes.
Yo, the witch is being an entrepreneur during the pandemic.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You can have your visit with your therapist via Zoom.
Telehealth.
And they are going, yes.
She charged.
So the witch, the tarot reader, the fortune teller, the psychic, the therapist, and your doctor, they all Zooming.
Boy, Miss Cleo would have had a field day during this time.
Man.
Boy.
Lord rest her soul, she passed away. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that.
But anyway, but one thing I can say, which I hate to say though, the tarot reader was on point.
Yeah, she was on point. I'm not saying I'm knocking it, because whatever you do.
I ain't trying to be all spiritual.
Whatever
you don't say it.
Yeah, whatever you do, you do. Whether it's religious.
Because I mean, there was the soothsayer. There was the soothsayer in the Bible. She was saying the right thing.
Yeah,
but the man of God still had to cast that.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I'm just saying.
But before we get there,
I ain't saying names.
The watermelon outfit appeared again.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I think they had matching outfits, just like when they went to walk the tightrope. You know what? It wasn't the tightrope, but when they went to walk the thing. Because at first I thought Bennett had on a onesie, but we came to the conclusion it was a shirt and shorts.
And I believe they had the same outfit that they shared.
I don't.
Let us know what you think. Did they share the watermelon outfit, or did they have the same?
Like toothbrushes.
Yeah, did they share the watermelon outfit, or each one had a watermelon outfit? But go ahead.
But anyway, so yeah, she says that, I'm gonna sum it up like this: the tarot reader says, based on the cards that she read, she should keep Bennett.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him turning into a big old jerk, a giant jerk. He's not gonna turn into a giant jerk. That any decisions that you have to make it based on the facts, not your fears. And she tells her, which apparently resonated with Amelia, try not to overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overthink anything. But before she can finish her statement, the call drops. So I hope she got some of her money back for the tarot reading session. Because Amelia was like, that was kind of ominous that she didn't finish her statement. But she got out what she needed to say.
Yeah.
And I guess Amelia needed to hear that, which again, I don't see. I mean, she'd have to be really flaky.
Yeah.
To at this point be like, oh no, I don't want to stay together, Bennett. Like, I can't see it.
I can't see it
from her end.
Not for her end.
We're gonna talk about him, but I can't see it from her end.
Yeah, can't see it for her end. And so, you know, her friends agree, they talk. But now we get to the point when Amelia and Bennett are together, and she has her. He sets up the nice living room for her.
Wait, you gotta say this. She was talking to her friends, and like her friends.
I want to talk about that dream. That dream was weird. I don't even know. I don't got.
We're just gonna say it like that. So she tells her friends about this weird dream.
And cucumbers.
About Bennett turning into a giant cucumber, and everybody wanting the cucumbers. And she starts to slicing them up, and she forgets that it's him, and she starts eating. And he was like, "Wait, it's me."
Like, dog, I didn't understand the dream, so that's why I didn't want to talk about the dream. Like,
but I thought that was funny. They were looking at her, you know, it's like, oh wow, you had a dream, okay.
She a surgeon? And she could be, I don't know. She's slicing them up, cutting them up as a cucumber. I don't even interpret dreams. So anybody, that's weird. That's weird, man. That's weird.
You know, I think I can help Amelia with that.
We had all
turn into a cucumber, you know what I'm saying, and you slicing them up. That means don't dissect them. Don't pick them apart.
Okay, look at you.
Don't nitpick with them, and don't eat them up. When y'all go through this situation, don't devour him, and just give him a chance and realize it's me. I'm still the same Bennett that I was from the beginning. See, you know what?
Look at that. You had to think about that thing. I'm not even gonna mess with you right now.
I didn't have to think about it. It just came.
It just dropped it. But hey, her dream. She had a dream about Bennett. But so her and Bennett sets up this nice little dinner for her. Had balloons. B and A. He says the B is for me, the A is for you.
But it's also my blood type.
It's also my blood type. So they sit down and have dinner, and they get to have a conversation. And Amelia reveals that she wanted to be on a reality show. She didn't really do it for marriage or for love, but she just wanted to be on a reality show. And Bennett was like, huh?
She thought it would be fun to be on a reality show. She says, and when I went through it, I didn't think I'd actually get picked. And then when I did get picked, I was like, well, I mean, it would be fun to be on a reality show. Mm-hmm. And he was like, what?
Like, because Bennett came into this for love. He came in this for marriage. He came in because he was tired of being single and he wanted to be married. She came in for a reality show. But I think when she experienced it and she saw him, she realized, you know what? And where she at now, and she loved him. So I'm not mad at for what she said. I'm just mad she took 4 months to tell Bennett.
I think, just like what you're saying, I think, and I said this, if she got it into, so they talk about fate and destiny and, that kind of thing. So how ironic is it that you got into it for the wrong reasons to be on a reality show? But look what happened. I guess they could say it's fate. So you got picked because you had to be with me. Because when she got down the aisle, she didn't see a stranger.
She knew somebody.
She knew it. And it was somebody that she had dealings with or she crossed paths with and she was actually interested in. So for all that I got into it for the reality show, she lucked up pretty daggone good. You know what I'm saying?
The witch told her that.
Anyway, yeah, so that's what I said. I was like, it worked out. If you believe in fate, if you believe in destiny, it worked out. They ended up who they ended up with, because she could have got a bum, he could have got a loser, not saying that.
It worked out, man. Bennett, he feels, I think production again drew up some kind of drama. I think Bennett was concerned. I think he was worried about it, but he's not worried about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That on decision day that he's still going to say yes, she's still going to say yes, and I think that
it depends on what the coin says that she flips, because she says, I think I'm going to flip a coin to decide. Ha ha.
Yeah, she's not flipping a coin. She don't want to lose Bennett.
Right. I was like, why are they joking about that? You're not going to flip no coin.
She can't find anybody else like Bennett.
I don't know. In the circles they run in, I think she probably could.
Nah.
I
not
think
to make her laugh the way he makes her laugh. Not the person who cleans like he cleans.
Yeah, because she don't wipe the outside of the glass.
She don't wipe outside the glass.
So,
she don't clean. They meant for each other.
So, again, we don't expect and they pretty much talk about it.
Yeah.
They talk about it right there. Just like Amani and Woody. They know. It ain't going to be no surprises when they go into decision day.
No.
They know they're both going to say yes.
They're both going to say yes. If he's already committed to moving to Virginia, he's going to say yes.
They're going to say yes. So Amani and Woody, that's a yes.
Amelia
and Bennett, that's a yes. Now, let's go to Miles and Karen.
Hold up. Before we go to Miles and Karen, let's do Brett and Olivia. Let's get that one out the way.
Okay.
First. Brett meets his friend. And I like friends like Brett has.
Well, first let's say why. So Pastor Cal says they've decided not to continue the process.
Yeah.
Because from the previews, it looked like it might have been something else when they show these. But Pastor Cal says they decided not to continue the process, and now they have to break it to their friends and family who were there when they said, "I'm going to take this dive into being married at first sight." They have to break to their friends, and so that's why Olivia and Brett are there, because Brett's talking to his friend, and she's talking to hers to tell them, "We called it quits."
We call it quits. And I like Brett's friend because Brett's friend was like, you know what? Sometimes you are pig-headed. In essence, sometimes you don't like to change. You don't when your mind is set on something. You're not going to maneuver, and that's what happened in their relationship.
Absolutely.
He wanted her to go with his program, and he wasn't willing to compromise, and his behavior ruined their relationship because he wasn't willing to see the thing through. And his friend was like, "Dog." He wasn't kind of convinced Brett to go back, but he was just letting him know you got to see it from her way sometimes too. It's not just always your way.
Yeah. And he says, is it a chance, that, you might try to work it out, get back together? And Brett tells him, no, it's definitive. Like, it's done.
It's done.
It's done. His friend says, is it anything that you learned out of the situation? And he says, I learned about pandemics. I learned about this. And he was like, anything about you? Did you learn anything about yourself? And Brett was like, no. And that's when the friend was really like, I've had to deal with this side of Brett. Right. It's hard to deal with.
It is hard.
But I've had to do it. And I'm like, I've had to be the person to call him out on his stuff, and, he's all cut and dry. His friend says that I'm hoping that in this situation, he'll come out more empathetic, because his friend knows and says, he lacks empathy.
He lacks empathy, and that's why he needed somebody. Maybe I'm not saying somebody I don't want to use the word control, but somebody that could throw it back at him. And Olivia wasn't that person. He needed somebody that would challenge him a little bit, but also love him in that way. And she wasn't that person. His friend was like, "Yo, he need to be empathetic, and if it's not his way, it's the highway." And so that's why he said he hasn't learned anything from the process, because that's why he goes back on the dating apps. That's why he went through 46 different girls, dated 46 women, because again, it was his way. And so even though I'm worried about the girl that he was going to go to the third date with, I mean, is that
she's going to be back on?
Is she
back on deck?
Is she back on deck? So I don't see Brett anytime soon getting married, because he got some things that he needs to work on and understand what a relationship is, and that if his wife comes in, even though your house is paid for per se, that woman may not want to live in your house. Y'all don't have something, and especially if you're controlling, you should be able to get something together.
Yeah.
Because she may want to decorate, she may want to change, you may want to expand your family, you may want to do different things. So when she comes in, you got to have that kind of, and that.
Speaking of, and I don't mean to cut you off, but expanding your family, that's the one thing that Brett and his friend knew that was something that was probably an issue, was the kids thing. And Brett said, it was the kids thing some. And he acknowledged that based on this, the pandemic probably brought some things out sooner than they would have run into. But he said, I can't say that it would have necessarily worked out regardless if we hadn't had that. And I do come out of this with different expectations of what I want in my relationship. I can say I have a different understanding.
So Olivia talks to her friend. And
Olivia is definitely, obviously disappointed that it didn't turn out the way that, she expected it to. Her friend asked her, was it anything you feel like you could have done better? And she says, I could have done intimacy better. Mm-hmm. I could have done affection better. I could have, because I didn't. Not necessarily the sex thing, but she says, I could have, you know, done more intimacy.
And that what I think would help their relationship, because that's one of the things, when we go back to the beginning, that was something that Brett wanted. Brett wanted intimacy. He was used to having sex. He used to, and I'm not necessarily saying sex, but he was used to having intimacy. When you're not giving a man who's used to intimacy, or even just having that conversation about intimacy, he feels some type of way. And the type of person Brett was, I'm sure he was in his feelings. Mm-hmm. He was in his emotions. He's like, man, she don't even give me intimacy. And then she want me to do this, this, and this. He was in his feelings. And which didn't lead to the relationship. So anything she said, he was being agitated. Also, she was one way on camera and another way off camera.
Well, see, that's the comment I was going to make. Her comment there leads me to believe that as much as she tried to say there was intimacy and touching off camera, it still probably wasn't as much as it obviously wasn't as much as it should have been. So those little scenes we saw, that probably was rare. So I think what it was is, his thing was, you don't want to do it on the camera, and then you do a minimum off the camera.
Mm-hmm. And then you try to tell me what to do, how to do it, and you're not, again, compromising. You don't want kids. I want kids. It was good for them to split.
She said, I didn't say I didn't want kids. I just said not right away. But obviously she gave him the impression that it was a flat out no.
It was a flat out no.
Yeah.
And then when you left him, again, no, if you give no man no intimacy, then you leave him for months, it's abandonment. In his mind, Brett felt, and he may not ever say it, Brett felt like he was abandoned.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He felt like he was abandoned, felt like he was scared, and it felt like that with the COVID situation, you're putting me at risk. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's the only reason, but those are some reasons. They both contributed in the fact that their relationship did not work.
Yeah, but her friend asked, so if he wants to give it another shot, what would you do? And Olivia says, you know, I would listen, and I would ask questions.
Yeah.
I'm open to listening. Which you know, Bennett straight up is like, no, it's definitive. It's a no.
Brett.
What? Oh yeah, Brett. I don't know why I said God knows it's not Bennett. Brett says it's definitive no, which is kind of on the preview, and plus from the last episode, we know that Brett reaches out to her. So if it's a definitive no, what the heck are you texting me and calling me for?
Yo, he's playing games. The emotions. Your mouth can say one thing, but your body and mind and feelings say something else. Because he really liked Olivia.
Yes.
He really liked Olivia, but there were some things that were just deal breakers. So.
Yeah. And so, then we got to go to, so that's an absolute no. Let's go with who we think would be another absolute no.
Henry and Christina.
They in, like, one of them is in La La Land.
Henry and Christina.
La La Land.
Yeah, she's in La La Land. Just,
yeah.
To skip, like I said, we mentioned the car situation. They was coming home, no conversation. They get there. Henry goes to his room. Christina goes to her room. Which
we noticed before they went to the retreat.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if they didn't show it before.
They didn't talk about it.
Or we just didn't notice. I feel like we would have noticed that. But when they packed to go to retreat, we noticed. I was like, what? Either his stuff is in that room or that's his room. And when they come back, we see the same thing.
Yes.
Which goes to our point. It's like, how can you sleep in a bed with this person all the time and there not be nothing? Well, there it is. They don't sleep in a bed.
They don't sleep in bed with each other.
So
I can't imagine you sleep in a bed with somebody for 4 months and you guys don't touch, rub feet, rub back, spoon each other, whatever the case may be. I don't see it happening. So
they haven't.
They haven't.
For sure.
And it's reason being because they're in 2 separate rooms. Whether Henry chose to move out in that room, and I believe Henry did choose to move out of that room. So, and by itself.
So, but yeah, very, very dry. I feel like Henry kind of says it, that, you know, we had a good time on the retreat. You know, we're getting along, and it was like, the car was the like time machine.
Yeah, it took us back.
It took us back. So, or the car is a transforming thing. So in the car, we get prepared like an actor for my scene. So the scene was a retreat. So we got to act like everything's okay. And when we get back in the car, it's like, okay, back to reality.
Yeah. It doesn't work that way. She is, you know, she's delusional. Even when she's talking to her friend and how about their relationship, and you sitting there like what world are you in, Christina? Like, this is not what's going on in your relationship. You want Henry to do all this. You're not doing your part, but yet it's his fault.
Well, I mean, I don't know. She's talking to her friend Andrew. The older man that's her friend. Which, I mean, you can have older friends. She didn't have any younger friends, but
she was hired.
But she's talking to him and she says, I think we've built a real good friendship vibe, which I wouldn't even agree with that.
I wouldn't agree with that neither.
But she says, but there's no spark. That's the truth. But I don't even know if you got a friendship vibe. But she says she wants to stick in there and try to make it work. She has felt like Henry is a brick wall. It's hard to get through, have conversation, communicate with them. But again, she wants to stick with it. And he was like, Andrew asked her, well, what is it that you like about him that will make you want to stick? She was like, well, actually, he's got this dryness about him, but I actually like the dryness because he's got this dry humor. I see that side of him. He's talented.
He got an apartment. He got a job. He got a place where I can live at. I don't have a home, but he got a place. So I'm trying to stick this thing out so I can have a place to lay my head when I come to New Orleans. I'm sorry.
Oh, female Matt.
Oh, dog. She's a female Matt. She wants to be with Henry because he has a place for her in New Orleans. Not the relationship, because she can't imagine. I'm sorry. She can't imagine this relationship working, and she still want to stick it out for what? There's no intimacy. You're lying to him. You're sneaking around, and you want to stay in a relationship because he has a house. He has a place for you to lay your head.
She even says she's surprised that he's stuck in there because she hasn't been the best person, but she likes his dryness. He's talented. He can really play the guitar, and he never took a lesson. It's just awesome. He's such a great guy, and I just need some effort from him. Clue, he ain't put no effort. He's not interested.
He's checked out. He's just going through the motions right now.
Henry meets with his friend Kristen. I'm sick of Kristen though, for real. But
Kristen likes Henry. Kristen likes Henry, and I don't care what anybody. She likes Henry, but doesn't want to go in that relationship with Henry. But they're real close. Yeah, they might as well. But he sits and talks to Kristen, and he says, we've had some struggles with honesty and communication. They have persisted during this time. And he says, some other things, because he doesn't want to tell Kristen. God knows he don't want to tell Kristen. About the text.
About the text message and the accusation that I'm messing with one of your friends, that I'm, gay on the side.
Yeah.
And because I think...
She go off.
Yeah, Kristen is the go off. Go off, sis. She is the go off, sis, type. And she says the thing is they had more time than usual, and the fact that even with more time than usually would be on Married at First Sight, that there's still no growth is like that. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's no growth. Not good. No growth.
Yeah, Henry's that's pretty much it. Kristen ain't never been a fan of Christina. She's still not a fan. She doesn't want Henry to get hurt, but I think she sees that Henry's like, he's done. I ain't hurt.
He ain't hurt. He's just counting days. It's like a man getting out of jail. He's down a couple of days. He's ready to get out. Yeah, so when Henry and Christina talk together, Henry's basically like, I'm just ready to get it over with. We're at the end of it. Let's just get it done. Yeah. He was hoping for a good match. He was hoping that everything would work out. That's not necessarily what he got. He wanted someone to have a family with and to plan a life with, and again, that's not what he got. It's been a hard way to go, and she never really made him feel comfortable, and I think that was the problem. From day one, lying, being anti, from the way she acted, she really never made him feel comfortable, and that's why their relationship never really took place. If he'd have felt more comfortable, I think their relationship would have been much better, but she never made him feel comfortable. Yeah, and they go to their last romantic dinner, something that they haven't done, and it's a nice place. It looks like it's only them in the restaurant, and Christina's like all optimistic and stuff, and Henry was like, are we in the same world? Basically, where did this come from? Is this an alternate universe? Like, if she'd have showed this Christina at the beginning, and then more, because she was more verbal. She's more like, I ain't gonna say aggressive, but she was more in tune to him at this dinner than she had been all season.
Yeah, she
and
said.
More open.
Yeah, she says she acknowledged it. She says I'm proud of both of us for sticking with it, because I know I can act a fool. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah,
yeah.
I know I can act a fool sometimes. She said, but I'm used to someone putting me in my place. And I feel like Henry did put her in her place, just not the way she probably used to. He put her in her place like this. Yeah, I'm gonna let you act a fool over there.
Yeah.
Keep on acting a fool.
But we heard a lot of women say that in this episode.
Yeah, he said, she says, what did you like about me? And Henry goes with the tick. He's like,
it was like it was like she asked him an SAT question that he didn't know the answer to.
Yeah, I like your spontaneity. And I think you write well.
Yeah, because the letter that you wrote at the retreat, that really touched me, and you know, it was good.
That letter was booty. Because they flashed back and it showed that part was booty.
Booty.
It was booty.
At the end.
I was like, poor Henry, that tick. Oh my gosh, he got the crane in his neck.
Yeah. But Henry, he's done. I mean, at decision day, she's gonna say yes. Henry gonna say no.
And she gonna be like, but
I didn't. She gonna be all surprised. I'm sorry. Henry's gonna say no. She's gonna say yes, and she's gonna be surprised that Henry said no.
I hate to laugh her pain, but I mean, it was funny to me. I was like, what?
Yeah. After
that dinner, Henry was like, I feel like, you know, are both of us in the same place? Because she said, like, what is she talking about?
Cue the Star Trek music.
Alright, so last but not least, we got these are the ones that are on the fence for, like...
You got Miles and Karen. We see Miles and Karen coming from retreat. She sets up, Miles sitting on the couch, Karen sits there, and she asks him to rub her feet.
Yeah.
So, and he started rubbing her feet, and she's like, "Oh, Miles, you got some gray hair." And he was like,
"Thanks to you, killer." He didn't call it killer.
Yeah, he said, "Thanks to you." She's like, "Oh." He's like, "I'm getting older." She's like, "Oh, you can stand again.
You can stand and grow up a little.
You can stand and grow up a little bit." I'm like, "Ooh, shots fired." And he was like, "What?" He cussed. I can't remember the word he said, but he was like, "What?" No. She throws subtle shots, and that passive aggressiveness that she has, throwing shots at his age again. She is like, I want to root for Karen. But she is like, I don't know if she's sabotaging it or she's messing it up, but she throws quick shots at Miles all the time about his age. Like, yo, you 4 months in, we still on this age thing?
Yeah.
That's my thing. You're 4 months in, and we're still on the age situation. But I digress. But again.
Yeah. And they talk about the fact that, okay, coming to decision day, they didn't want decision day to add more pressure to their relationship. You know, basically, I think they could be on the same page. It's kind of sounding like it, but they both have their drawbacks. We see Miles meets with his friend Blake, and we've seen Blake previously. And Blake's like, you know, how's everything going? And Miles says, you know, being in this quarantine, it's taking a toll on our relationship. She's been so stressed with work and coming, and it's like she hasn't been present in the moment, and it didn't really bring us closer so much, you know, like we might have expected it to. But he said, he gave the example of how she came home and he had fixed food and it was clothes over here, and I'm sitting on the couch and she literally takes her food and sits somewhere else. He like, you can't sit with me?
Yeah, she sits on the edge of the couch. She sits on the edge.
On the arm of the chair.
Arm of the chair, eat her food. Like, dog, can you at least have a seat with me and, you know, let us conversate, let us talk, let us have a moment. And, you know, maybe she was just hungry. I don't know. I'm not gonna make excuses for her.
Maybe. I mean, but you could still be hungry have
conversation.
Because I mean, if that's the case, if you got hungry, she could have sat at the island and ate.
Yeah.
But to get almost close to him, but not quite. That seems to be the thing with Karen. He says, you know, she has been opening up more lately, probably since the state opened up. But when they were in quarantine, you know, she's got it tight. But he said he expresses his frustration about having to tell Karen that I need affection. She's not. That's the thing. She's not an affectionate person. He needs some love shown. That's not what she does. him and Blake talk about the fact that Blake says, well, what do you think it would take to get under that hard exterior, that surface? And Miles was like, time. And Blake was like, and you don't have time.
You got to make a decision. And I think a lot of Karen's exterior, or what she shows with that emotion, is the fact of what she saw growing up. I do believe people see what at home. I think you didn't see it. When you come from a house where her dad, as she mentioned, her dad is a masculine man or head of the house, and he probably doesn't need a whole bunch of affection. He doesn't need a whole bunch of affection. You don't never see mama hugging him. You don't see him being snuggled up or doing of that nature. You get to the point where, man, that's not what men do, because she kept using the term all the time, masculine. Well, there's some people who come from homes where affection is shown all the time, where mom and dad are hugging up, or dad is hugging mom, or mom is showing affection to dad. She may be rubbing his back. He had a rough day, rubbing him here. So he may have that conversation. So I think she didn't see that a lot growing up. And then the relationships that she was in, she hadn't been in that many. The guys that she dealt with are the guys, because controlling in her relationship, dominant in her relationship, will try to put her in her place because they was doing dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what she used to. She was not used to having a nice guy who wants the affection, because what's wrong with a guy wanting the same thing that a woman has, which is affection, compassion, feel like they're being wanted.
And it doesn't make you...
It doesn't make you weak.
I would say my husband is a masculine man.
Yeah.
He's a masculine man. But he likes cuddling, hugs and kisses. It doesn't take away from his masculinity at all.
Yeah. I like hugs and kisses from you.
Okay. So I don't even know if it's that. I think it's the combination of him wanting the affection and the fact that he's so open about his feelings. She's putting the two of those together, because there's plenty of masculine men, again, that love and affection and hugging up on them and stuff. But they're not necessarily the touchy-feely type when it comes to, I didn't like it when you made me feel. When you did that, it made me feel.
She hasn't been around a guy who's open and who can communicate well what he wants. And that's what it is. He communicates his feelings. Doesn't make him weak. It means that he's a great communicator. Because how many people are in relationships and they can't communicate how they feel to their spouse?
Yeah. And like he said, he had to learn that when he went through his clinical depression diagnosis. He said that's the one thing that he came out with. I can't suppress these feelings and emotions that I have. I have to get it out, or I'm gonna implode.
Have to communicate.
And so Karen, so for Miles, his question is her capacity to love him and be affectionate towards him the way that he needs to.
Yes.
That's what's going to be his issue when it comes to decision day. Mm-hmm. And I think a little bit the age, how she keep throwing that age.
Killer keep throwing that age out there.
So Karen meets with her friends Jessie and Felicia, and she says there's been a lot going on. She acknowledges the fact that I could be a lot more affectionate.
Yeah.
I'm just not the sit down on the couch type.
How's your day been?
You okay?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not the rub you on the back type. And here, this is what her friends say. Mm-hmm. We bring up the masculinity, and for her, it's the fact of, can you put me in my place?
But you can put a woman in her place.
Meaning, not being a pushover. Go ahead.
But you can put somebody in their place without having to yell, scream, fight, or fuss. You can put them in a place by saying, no, I'm not saying that, but you can put them in a place like, hey, chill. Kill it. But he does sometimes. If you look at it, he's like, chill, kill it, nah. Chill. Hey, no, we're not doing it.
Absolutely.
So he's kind of putting you in your place, but just not the way that she's used to.
Maybe. I don't think she's saying you gotta yell and fuss at me.
But I think the way that she was used to putting in place, or what she's seen, again, you base your behaviors on what you like or what you've seen. So the way she's seen and what she heard may be what she expects and what she's used to. The guys that she dealt with put her in her place one type of way. Miles is doing it in a subtle type of way, and that's what she's not used to. So she's thinking because he does it like this, he's not masculine. Her issue is in her relationship, she's been comparing Miles to some of her past relationships and what she's seen. Yeah,
even her friend Felicia says that, she talks about that alpha male.
Yeah.
You need an alpha male. We're concerned about him not being an alpha male and, being that big, strong man. And like I said, to me, I felt like more so what she probably needs is somebody that's not a pushover. And I don't think as far as putting her in her place, because nobody wants no jellyback joker,
Right.
a wet noodle.
But that's not Miles.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
You got a guy who got his stuff together. He works. He got a good job. He makes money. He takes care of himself. He's a coach, which gives him a different aspect of how to handle things and handle people. And so he's not a pushover, but who's in touch with his feelings. But he's allowing you to. He wants you to communicate that to him in a emotional feeling type way. Doesn't make him weak.
Well, it's not that either. But she also adds that basically I felt like, she didn't say it like this, but I felt like I was dealing with his representative at first. It was like he was so nice and so gentlemanly and it was so over the top that I was like, can you pull that back some? Because that's what made her feel too like you're too nice. She's not used to guys being nice.
Right, but that's what he is though. How do you tell me pull back on myself if that's who I am?
Because she felt like it wasn't real to her, and so she wanted it to be real. It's like nobody can be this nice, even though all his friends and family said this is how Miles is.
But she should have learned that when the cameras were gone and they was filming themselves, and he was still who he was. She should have realized, you know what, this ain't for the cameras. This is Miles.
Somebody has done a job on Karen, because she don't know which way is up.
Yeah, because he's doing the right things, and that's the problem. I think that's the problem with some guys, some men in relationship. I'm doing the right things. You don't even appreciate the fact that I'm doing the right things. I'm being a gentleman. My parents or what I saw taught me well. We're doing that with our teenager, the young man that she's trying to deal with. He's doing it well. He walks. He won't let her walk on the side of the road where the car's at. He'll walk on the side. He walk on the side of the car. If she's cold outside, they stand and talk. He give her his jacket. He ain't a pushover by no means.
No, absolutely, because no.
Right, but he's in that category where his parents, because we know his parents, raised him right. So it's not. She got somebody who raised him right.
Yeah, but. Last but not least, let's wrap up Miles and Karen. We're gonna let y'all go.
Yeah.
They had a nice dinner at home. Yeah. Oh, that's the one thing that Miles said to Blake. He was like, the one thing I'm not gonna knock. He said, man, I eat good. So you talk about when the cameras are on or off.
She can cook.
Does his behavior change? And that's the one thing Miles said. He said, bro, the food gets better. Those first meals was not just for show. Like, she cooks, my dude.
Miles get excited. He's like, yo, bro, it is good, dog.
He said,
it's good.
He said that food is good. So here they are eating another nice meal, and they talk about, they've had some tough times, but they've been able to laugh. I like that I can laugh with you, communicate with you, and you give me the masculine energy that I need. I need some more. And she says, that I'm looking for you to be the man of the house, a protector. Some of the things she said that she was looking for, I was like, obviously Miles has already shown that. Your thing again is you're not seeing that rough masculine man, and he's not a rough masculine man. But she trusts him to she has to be able to trust him to lead, and she says it to his face. I need you to put me in my place. And he says he's all that, but he needs to see that she wants him. I could do all of that you're looking for, but on the other side, I need to know that you want me. You're gonna have to show me that you want. I don't want to have to keep asking and figuring out myself. And that's true. In a relationship, each person has to show, I want you. Mm-hmm. They have to know that I'm desirable to my spouse, or I'm going to find somebody else that I am desirable to.
And the key word there, I have to show that I have value in this relationship. Mm-hmm. That you value me, or value my emotions, you value my feelings, you value our relationship as a whole. That you value me in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. And so in the end, basically, Miles and Karen say something that we've been saying is, Karen says that we want to come to this conclusion collectively. Mm-hmm. They don't want no surprises. They want to come to this conclusion collectively. So when they get in there, it's going to be yes, yes, or no, no.
Yeah.
She pretty much said that.
Yeah. And to me, it's going to be yes.
Yes.
And yes.
I think it is too.
It's gonna be yes and yes.
And Miles says I want us to be okay individually and together. It's gonna be a yes.
It's gonna be a yes. No doubt. No doubt.
That's the only way they're gonna be okay.
But
at the same time, Miles is like, we want to make a decision that is true for us. That's the right thing for us.
I think this is where after they both say yes, they need to go to counseling.
Yeah.
After they both say yes, this is where the counseling take place. Because remember, in a relationship, they didn't have counseling or any kind of. So after the yes, we go to counseling. So, and to wrap this up, let's see what we have. Bennett and Amelia, we both say yes.
Absolutely yes.
Amani and Woody, we both say yes.
Yes.
Miles and Karen, we both say yes.
We say yes. They gonna play with us on decision day when it comes to the two of them.
If I was production, I would leave those two last.
Mm-hmm.
Christina and Henry.
Nope.
He says no. She says yes.
But it's a no.
And then we already know Olivia and Brett is a no.
Well, but it's gonna be some tricky stuff that he can't let it go.
Never
can say goodbye.
No.
Brett has a problem.
It's no. It's no.
It's a no, but Brett's having a problem.
Hey, but thanks for joining us this week, man. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure if you read books or you like listening to audiobooks, check out the link in the description below. Also, coming since Married at First Sight is wrapping up, we're starting to review Ready for Love. So check that out too as well.
Yep. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Bye.